Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. So I'm going to be giving you the 6 things that Manchester United must do to be title contenders for next season. Now, I think we need to convince Paul Pogba to sign a new long-term contract at Manchester United. Now, I do believe that Paul Pogba will now stay at the football club anyway, that we have got qualification for the Champions League. Now, Fabrizio Romano the other week come out and he said that Manchester United want to extend Paul Pogba's contract, and Pogba's agent Mini Raiola is waiting for the offer. And he reportedly said a few weeks ago that Paul Pogba was close to signing a 5-year contract at Manchester United. And it says the contract extension will be announced at the end of the season. But if we sign Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the football club, then obviously it will end the uncertainty over his future, because he has had a long-running transfer saga. At one point, it was looking very imminent that Pogba was going to be leaving Manchester United, because don't forget, last summer, Paul Pogba was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid, because Pogba said last summer he was seeking for a new challenge, and he even publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the club. Obviously, last summer we said we wanted around £180 million for Paul Pogba. Also, too, there was a lot of narratives coming from the mainstream media saying that, Juventus were interested in him. Don't forget, Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus, and PSG and Barcelona have been in for Paul Pogba before. Like I said, I didn't really have a perception on Paul Pogba earlier on in the season because he was out with that ankle injury. After lockdown, I think Paul Pogba did make a good impact, but I think in the last 3 games or so, Paul Pogba has looked a bit off the pace, but I think he's done very, very well alongside Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. I think probably the mistake we did make was getting rid of Pogba when he was younger, because don't forget, we had him under the Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. We did pay 89 million for Pogba, so as it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing. And he is one of the highest paid players at the football club, because on his current contract, he's on, is it 300 grand a week or just under £300,000 a week? So far, Paul Pogba's won 2 trophies at the football club, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. And I think Paul Pogba is 27 years of age, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. Like I said, if we was going to sell him, I think, we'd want at least £100 million, maybe even more, because I said if we'd have sold Paul Pogba, it'd be very imperative to get more than the 89 million that we did pay for him. So I can see, getting Paul Pogba a new contract at the football club. So that's one of the things we have to do. I think another one of the things we have to do is to sign a centre-half, because we need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. Because like I said, Victor Lindelof, his season's been up and down. He's had some good games and he's also had some bad games. There's been quite a lot of games, where he's made a lot of mistakes, Victor Lindelof. And he isn't a world-class centre-half. This has been Lindelof's 3rd season at Manchester United. Like I said, in his first season, he struggled for that consistency. But last season, this season, there's a lot of aspects of his game that have improved from his first season. But there's still things, he needs to improve on. But he's definitely not on Harry Maguire's level. Eric Bailly, he's always injured, and that's my only element of concern about Eric Bailly, is that he is injury prone. But apart from that, very, very good centre-half. He's actually, he would be my preference over Victor Lindelof, Eric Bailly. And this has been Eric Bailly's 4th season at Manchester United. So I think we need a centre-half on like Harry Maguire's level. And there's been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda. We've been looking at Kalidou Koulibaly from Napoli. He won't be cheap though. Probably going to cost us at least, 60, 70 million pounds, maybe even 80 million pounds. We've recently been looking at Nathan Ake from Bournemouth. I think we've also been interested in Tyrone Mings from Aston Villa. So yeah, there's been a few centre-halves on our agenda, but we have actually got 7 centre-halves in the team. But yeah, so we need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire. But Harry Maguire, I think he's also had some good games and he's also had some bad games. Harry Maguire's made a lot of mistakes recently. Of course, this has been Harry Maguire's first season at Manchester United. Some United fans don't think he's good enough to captain the team. We got Harry Maguire last summer from Leicester for £80 million. So he's the second most expensive signing at the club, just behind Pogba, and he's the most expensive centre-half in the world. At this moment in time is Harry Maguire. So yeah, I think we need to recommend the centre-half in because we do need to improve defensively, because if you've noticed, Manchester United are still leaking goals and we are making a lot of mistakes at the back. I think another one of the things we have to do is give the youngsters more opportunities. Now, like I said, Solskjaer's promoted the youth very, very well throughout the course of this season. Mason Greenwood's been given his chances, which is very, very good. Mason Greenwood scored he scored 17 goals this season in all competitions. And Solskjaer's been talking a lot about him recently. And don't forget, Mason Greenwood's just recovered from an ankle injury not too long ago. And he's definitely the foreseeable future for Man United. Earlier on in the season, the vast majority of Mason Greenwood's appearances were coming from the bench. But after lockdown, obviously, Mason Greenwood was getting a lot of starts and he was getting ahead of Daniel James. I think possibly, we could loan Daniel James out for next season. Also, too, Brandon Williams, he's been given his chances this season. He's played quite a lot of games. I know that Luke Shaw is our first choice left back, and probably for next season he will remain our first choice left back. Obviously, Luke Shaw's recently been out with an ankle injury because I think he's missed our last, 3 or 4 games with his ankle injury. But Brandon Williams has enjoyed a very, very good season. But on the other hand, there's some young players that have found game time hard, didn't they? Tahith Chong, he's hardly played this season. James Garner, he's another one of the players. Diego Dalot, he's only played, twice? Has he made only 2 starts this season, Diego Dalot? But don't forget, he had a few injuries earlier on in the season. So yeah, we have got a lot of young good players coming through. So this is another one of the things that Manchester United have got to do. I also think we've got to get Dean Henderson back at the football club for next season. I think Dean Henderson's done very, very well on his loan spell with Sheffield United. This was his second season on loan with Sheffield United, and I've got to say, Dean Henderson has been Sheffield United's player of the season. Dean Henderson has had quite a few loan spells though with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. Don't forget we got Dean Henderson back in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him at just the age of 14. And Dean Henderson has got a contract with us until 2022. I think it did recently say that we have been in talks with Dean Henderson over signing him a new long-term contract. And reportedly Dean Henderson wants around 100 grand a week. He did recently say that Chelsea are willing to more than double his wages. He said Chelsea are willing to offer Dean Henderson around 170 grand a week. Dean Henderson's current salary at the moment is around £70,000 a week, but Sheffield United are paying the vast majority of that. So, do you think Dean Henderson, should become our number 1 next season? Solskjaer, towards the start of the resumption of the season, was talking a lot about Dean Henderson. I think it was prior to our game against Sheffield United, and he said that he expects Dean Henderson to be England's number 1 and Manchester United's number 1 goalkeeper in the future. But he did say Dean Henderson is not yet ready to become our number 1. But we've got to get him back to the football club to, battle it out with De Gea. Obviously, David De Gea has been our number 1 for several years. This has been David De Gea's 9th season at Manchester United, and he is approaching his 10th year at the football club. And like I've said to you before, David De Gea has had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Manchester United, because I think in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he has made. Obviously, he made 2 goalkeeping howlers in the 3-1 defeat to Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. Also made a mistake against Tottenham. Also made a mistake against Everton, and he's made quite a few other mistakes throughout the course of this season. David De Gea has made 404 appearances for Man United in all competitions. and I think he's made around 312 appearances in the Premier League. But Solskjaer did recently make an admission saying that David De Gea's position at the football club's under threat, and he did warn David De Gea that he has got to raise his game. But Solskjaer said the other week that De Gea has been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years. But David De Gea did recently say that he intends to stay at the football club for several years. We paid around 17 or was it 18 million pounds for him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. If we was to sell David De Gea in this summer transfer window, if we was to sell him next year or next couple of years' time, we'd still get more than the 17 or 18 million that were paid for him from Atletico Madrid. And I said, didn't I, when David De Gea eventually leaves Man United, I think he will go back to Spain anyway. The main explanation is because he was born in Spain, relatives are from Spain, began his footballing career in Spain, and he was linked with Real Madrid for several years. Obviously, back in 2015, he was close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. But a lot of Man United fans have said that, David De Gea should be sold, or David De Gea should have been dropped for the games against West Ham and Leicester. I think maybe in the Europa League games in August, Sergio Romero could start. I think another one of the things that Manchester United have got to do, and that is get rid of more deadwood, because quite frankly, there's still deadwood at the football club. I think we're going to get rid of at least 6 players in the summer transfer window. And I think the players we're looking to get rid of is Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard is very, very inconsistent. And like I said, reflects on Jesse Lingard's status at the football club and, the number of years he's been with us. He should be putting much more better performances out. But there again, he did score in the 2-0 win against Leicester, but that was his first goal for the football club since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game in charge. But Lingard doesn't even get in the team now enough anyway. I think we'd probably get around 25 to 30 million for Lingard if we sell him in the summer transfer window. Pereira, he's another player, he isn't getting in the team enough. I think, we'd also need to get rid of him. I want us to get rid of Sanchez permanently because it will free up our wage bill completely. I'll give you the news regarding Sanchez yesterday. There were stories coming out from the Italian press saying that Inter Milan could offer us Ivan Perisic in a bid to keep, obviously, Alexis Sanchez permanently. But I think Inter Milan do want Sanchez permanently now. Inter Milan did get him on a 10-month loan last summer, but there was no option or no obligation to buy. But we don't want him back at Manchester United. Also, too, Smalling and Jones, I think we'll look to get rid of them. Smalling's out on loan with Roma at the moment. Obviously, we'll look to get rid of Rojo. He's out on loan at Estudiantes at the moment. And we're also looking to get rid of Diego Dalot. So I think we're going to get rid of at least 6 players in this summer transfer window. But like I said, a hell of a lot of players have left since Solskjaer got recommended in to the football club. And I think another one of the things that Man United have got to do is recruit correctly. We've got to get the right calibre players in this summer transfer window. Solskjaer did recently say that he's targeting 5 players to overhaul the Manchester United squad. Because at the start of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure, he agreed with Mike Phelan that he wanted to make around 9 signings. So far, we've recruited well under Solskjaer. The summer transfer window is now open, and it's open until I think October. But this is Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager and his 2nd summer transfer window. But so far, Solskjaer's made 4 permanent signings at the football club. Obviously, last summer got Daniel James, and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. And in January, got Bruno Fernandes and Odion Ighalo in. So he spent over £200 million so far at the club. But he brought these players in the last 2 windows because in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first transfer window, he didn't recommend anyone in. So I think these are the things that Manchester United have got to do, to be title contenders next season. Because our expectations next season will be to challenge for the title. And we have got to spend money to compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. I think, Chelsea could be in there with a shout for next season because Chelsea have done very, very good recruitment so far. I think they have signed 2 players at the moment. They signed Hakim Ziyech back in February for around 37 or 38 million, was it? They got Werner for around £48 million. That's around 80 million on 2 players. And I think they are close to getting Havertz from Leverkusen. Well, it recently said that they'd agreed a fee of around 80 million for Kai Havertz. So if they get Kai Havertz, that will be around 160 million that Chelsea have spent on 3 players. Don't forget Chelsea are looking to get a goalkeeper in to replace Kepa Arrizabalaga. So yeah, like I said, they could be in there with a shout. Probably City will look to recruit in this summer transfer window. Confirmed quite a few weeks ago that City's 2-year Champions League ban was overturned by CAS. So City will be delighted about that. And they got fined around 25 million, was it, back in February for breaking financial fair play rules. But that fine got reduced from 25 million to just £8 million. So City would have been relieved with that. Liverpool will probably want to make 1 or 2 signings. I don't know if Arsenal are going to recruit. Tottenham, Daniel Levy doesn't like to spend loads of money. I wonder if Leicester, are going to recruit any players. So, yeah, so we will see what happens. Like I said to you on my video yesterday, Solskjaer is pleased to have proved his critics wrong. Because earlier on in the season, I was very, very critical of Solskjaer, and so too were a lot of Manchester United fans. Because earlier on in the season, we'd enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. And at that point, Solskjaer was under serious pressure at the club. But I give you the main explanations why Solskjaer did not get sacked as Manchester United manager. That's because of the signing of Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes has made a difference in the team. Also, too, with Solskjaer being a club legend, that also plays a part in it. Don't forget, went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions until Chelsea beaten us. And these are the reasons why I didn't get sacked. And obviously, we are unbeaten in our last 14 Premier League games. But I think it's a fantastic achievement, to get qualification for the Champions League and to finish 3rd. Because don't forget, this has been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first full season at the football club. So he has definitely, proved his critics wrong. Because earlier on in the season, I didn't even expect us, to finish in the top 8, the way, we was playing and all of that. But our transfer budget for this summer transfer window, I think, has been revealed. I think we're going to get given from 100 to 150 million pounds to spend. Solskjaer's already outlined his transfer plans after Champions League qualification. He's told our board to go and get his preferred targets. Solskjaer's had quite a few, discussions with Ed Woodward, and he's told Ed Woodward, the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. I think he's identified a good 4 or 5 areas, Solskjaer, where he wants to strengthen up. I think he's looking to get a holding midfielder in. Obviously, we're in search for the right winner. He's also looking to recommend the centre-half in. I was reading reports recently and he said we're looking to recommend the left-back in. Maybe we are still in search for a striker because there's still areas in the squad where Manchester United are lacking. But, even Neville's recently come out and said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to be ruthless in this summer transfer window and all of that. But, yeah. And, like I said, we are facing a dilemma regarding the contracts. We have got around 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. So we've got to make a decision on these 8 players. But to be fair, we've extended a lot of players' contracts since Solskjaer came in. I've been impressed as well throughout the course of this season with how we've done against the top 6 sides. Because I think we've taken a good 18 or 19 points against the top 6 sides this season. But we have really rejuvenated ourselves, since January. The last time we lost in the league was 2-0 to Burnley. But we remain unbeaten in the league since Bruno Fernandes, came into the football club. It's just amazing how one player can make a difference in your team. But yeah, we have improved since January. And Solskjaer, was like saying prior to the Leicester game, he says the team have shown that they are going places. And he also says that, the players are progressing. And he also mentioned that the fitness levels have improved. And he gave the 5 reasons behind our unbeaten run in the Premier League. Now, I'm starting to think now Solskjaer could be the foreseeable future for Man United. And I hope I'm right. I'm hopeful that we can get our 21st title under him. Because as it stands at the moment, we have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues. So as it stands at the moment, we are the most successful team in Premier League history. But we haven't won the Premier League now for 7 years. The Europa League is definitely a priority for Man United because that is the only chance we've got of winning any silverware this season under Solskjaer. If we win the Europa League, it will be our first trophy under him. We've got to play Lask on the 5th of August. That is the second leg because we are 5-0 up from the first leg. So obviously, we're more or less into the quarterfinals of the Europa League. But to be honest with you, I think we have emerged as one of the favourites to win the Europa League. But the big test for Solskjaer is definitely next season. Let's see how we do next season. I'm not expecting us to win the league next season, but I'm expecting us to be up there challenging for it. I really, really am. But like I've said to you before, there's been a lot of problems at the football club for several years. There haven't only been problems with, the managers we've had. There's been obviously problems with the club's ownership, the Glazers. There's been a lot of problems with Ed Woodward. There's also been a lot of problems with the club's board. We've been criticised for several years, reflecting on how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also been criticised for overpaying for players, and I will make that admission. We have overpaid for players in recent years. And there's been a hell of a lot of cultural problems at the club. In the last 7 years, like I've said to you before, we've had different managers with different philosophies. We've spent close to the £1 billion range on players. And we've recruited a good 33 players in since the Alex Ferguson era. And I think a lot of the players we've brought in the last 7 years have not been the right calibre players for Man United. We've made mistakes in the last 7 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we have been so inconsistent. You can maybe say, well, you pointed Mourinho in too late. That was a mistake. Ferguson made a mistake by appointing David Moyes in, but that's the only mistake Alex Ferguson made. I think maybe you can say there's players that we've got rid of over the years who we shouldn't have got rid of. Prime example, Ander Herrera should have kept him. Romelu Lukaku should have kept him. I think there's some players we've given contracts to as well who we shouldn't have given contracts to. Some people said that we did give this job to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer too soon. So people say that's a mistake, but we give Solskjaer the job permanently, reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. This is why, we give Solskjaer the job permanently. So we have actually, made mistakes. Solskjaer's just got under 2 years left now on his Man United contract, like I said, because he has been at the football club over a year and a half. And definitely will see out his contract minimum at Manchester United. But I want his managerial tenure to work out, and reflecting on how long he's been at Man United now, Solskjaer, he has, got that managerial experience behind him because Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Solskjaer will not replicate Ferguson's legacy at the club, and he won't last as long as Ferguson did, but no manager at Man United or no manager in general will replicate what Ferguson did. But I think we can get back to as we want to be under the Solskjaer era and that, because he's our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. But Solskjaer's got big decisions to make in this summer transfer window. He really, really has. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on this channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.